talking about vitamin D supplementation, there's two forms of vitamin D. There's vitamin D3 and there's vitamin D2. The other name for vitamin D3 is co-calciferol, and that co in there is the same co that we see in cholesterol. And cholesterol is only seen in animals. It's not seen in plants. And obviously, since we are an animal, the skin takes cholesterol, a cholesterol derivative, and using the high energy photons of ultraviolet B radiation is able to actually break double bonds and convert it into vitamin D in our skin. So that's vitamin D3 in our skin that we can make. You can also supplement with vitamin D3. It has to come from an animal, generally speaking. And I would say 90% of the vitamin D3 on the market is coming from lanolin, which is a wax that is produced with sheep's wool that they process when they harvest the sheep's wool, and then they through some chemical reactions and ultraviolet light they can make a vitamin D3 that you can buy in a capsule. Vitamin D2, on the other hand, is not co-calciferol but ergocalciferol, which is a plant-based steroid or hormone. That is a lot of that you can get that in shiitake mushrooms, for instance. You grow shiitake mushrooms and put them out into the sun. They will make vitamin D2 in various amounts depending on how long you leave it out in the sun. And you can grind that up, put it into a capsule, and take that. That's vegan. It doesn't require any animal products. There's also some nutritional benefits in the mushroom itself that you can get from that as well. Interestingly, the question is vitamin D2, vitamin D3, what are the differences between those two? So they are structurally different. They have a lot of overlap in terms of their effects, vitamin D pathways. It takes usually more vitamin D2 to get vitamin D levels up. And what's interesting, though, as they do have some overlap, there are some things that vitamin D3 will do to the human body that vitamin D2 cannot do, and vice versa. One of the things, for instance, specifically is vitamin D3 does seem to have some effect on interferon, which is a powerful substance in the innate immune system. Vitamin D2 doesn't, but there are some genes that vitamin D2 can affect that vitamin D3 doesn't. And I'm wondering, since typically one is created in the skin and the other one is a dietary, my hypothesis, I don't have much proof to this, is I wonder whether or not we need both.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this. That's really, really interesting. So you would supplement both, or would you share
You
what
know,
you're
it's
doing?
I haven't seen a lot of data. They're usually treated pretty much the same in the literature. They'll say vitamin D2 slash vitamin D3 when they're looking at studies and meta-analysis. But there are some very detailed studies where they've actually looked at the vitamin D2 and vitamin D3 pathways, and there are some genes that one will hit and the other will not, vice versa. I would say the vast majority of the genes and the things that they activate, there is a large overlap, and that's why they're sort of treated the same. But there are some very fine, distinct differences, and they're interesting. They do behave a little bit differently.
And again, like the body is synthesizing which variant with sun exposure? Both
Vitamin
or?
D3 is the one that is is the one that is produced in the skin from sun exposure.
Okay.
Vitamin D2 is what is produced in the mushrooms when they get when they get ultraviolet B exposure.
So D2 is not in the human body from sun exposure. It's not created through any sun exposure in the human body per se.
Correct. It's only taken in by oral ingestion. Now, there is a D3 that is produced by algae. Uh, Algae is not an animal. I guess it's a plant in a sense. So that's kind of a little bit of an exception there. You can get vitamin D3 produced in algae, and most of that I believe is sourced from the ocean. When you do that, I'd have to look more into that about microplastics and things of that nature. There's also the potential of microplastics in mushrooms, although I haven't seen the data on that. So
That's pretty
these
much
are some of
every
the things you have to think about with supplementing.